This is our lesson for section P.4, operations on polynomials, after quiz P1 to P3 on Thursday, August 26th. So this is for period 4. As you see in example 1, we are adding two polynomial expressions. When you add two polynomials, you don't have to worry about rewriting the expression without parentheses, although you could. Most students will just go ahead and combine like terms. The negative 17x to the third and the positive 16x to the third produces negative x cubed. Then you would take the 4x squared and the negative 3x squared to get plus x squared. The negative 11x and plus 3x is negative 8x, and the negative 5 and negative 15 is negative 20. So our polynomial has four terms. The degrees of each term are the exponents. The first term, negative x cubed, has a degree of 3. The second term, x squared, has a degree of 2. The third term, negative 8x, has a degree of 1, which is implied. And the last term, negative 20, which we really often refer to as the constant term, we don't see the variable x, but technically you could make the case that we have x to the 0 power, but x to the 0 power is really 1, so usually we just don't write it. So that's adding polynomials. And you've done this before in Algebra 2, so it's not really that difficult. In number 2, when we subtract, we have to be careful here that we let that affect each term's sign in the second quantity. So the negative 7x to the third becomes plus 7x cubed, then minus 2x squared plus 5x minus 9. It's like you are distributing a negative 1 here with the quantity in the second set of parentheses. Once you've rewritten it, which I highly recommend you do this line, then combine like terms, and that gives you the final answer of 20x cubed minus 11x squared minus 2x minus 8. Moving on to multiplication. In number 3, we have the product of two binomials. You could certainly distribute each term in the first quantity with the second quantity, but that really produces the mnemonic that we use to help multiply two binomials, and that's FOIL. FOIL, of course, just reminds us of the order we multiply our terms. We start with our first term, 7x times 4x is 28x squared. Then our outside product is the 7x times the negative 3, or negative 21x. The inside product is negative 5 times 4x, and that's negative 20x. And then the last product is negative 5 times negative 3, which is positive 15. Of course, we can combine our two middle terms of negative 21x and negative 20 to get negative 41x. What happens in number 4? Well, in number 4, we are squaring a binomial. One way to go about squaring is to rewrite it as FOIL, the product of two factors of the quantity 2x plus 4y. Of course, the first product would become 4x squared, the outside product 8xy, and the inside product 8xy. Somebody earlier today said 8yx. Yes, but multiplication's commutative, and we usually put those variables in alphabetical order. That helps us to see those middle terms are actually like terms. And then the last product, of course, 4y times 4y is 16y squared, and when we combine like terms, we get 4x squared plus 16xy plus 16y squared. Can you learn a shortcut? Absolutely. There is a sheet of special products that you will be given by the substitute. You can take a look at those, but one of those is squaring a binomial, and Squaring a binomial is a great shortcut because what you do is you square 2x to get the first term of 4x squared. We said the product of 2x and 4y is 8xy, those two terms. We can either write that product twice or we can double it, which is how we get plus 16xy, because it's both the outside and inside product when you do FOIL. And then squaring 4y gives us 16y squared. Nice shortcut. Example 5, a binomial times a trinomial. Well, you have to distribute the terms in the first quantity times the second quantity. So you can see in this critical second line, which some people do in their heads, they go straight to line 3, but if you're not comfortable with that, it might not be a bad idea to rewrite the product as distributing twice. 5x times the quantity 3x squared minus 5x plus 4, and then the negative 2 times the quantity 3x squared minus 5x plus 4. Of course, once you distribute and combine like terms, you get our answer of 15x cubed minus 31x squared plus 30x minus 8. Final example. I want to show you all of example 6. If we are cubing a binomial, one way to cube it is to write out 3 factors of x plus 4. That's what the power 3 really means. We are multiplying together 3 factors of the quantity x plus 4. Of course, you can't all multiply them all together at once. You have to take 2 at a time. I opted to take the last 2 just to make it easier when I write it. And you see that gives x squared plus 8x plus 16. And then I have to multiply that by the first factor of x plus 4. And I'm distributing like I did in problem 5. The result is what you see on the final line right here, x cubed plus 12x squared plus 48x plus 64. On the sheet of special products, there is a shortcut for finding the product or for cubing a binomial. The rule is stated right here. You have to understand what A and B really represent. In our case, A is x and B is 4, and you plug into that rule. The coefficients that you see for the terms come from something called Pascal's triangle. I don't want to get into it right now, but the coefficients are 1, 3, 3, 1, or in the difference for the cube rule, the middle term, every other term's negative. It's positive, negative, positive, negative. But when I plug in, you can see I plugged in for A with x, and then in the second term I plugged in with x for A and 4 for B. Now, what happens is you square the x, and then you have to multiply the 3 and 4 together, and that's how you get 12x squared. In the third term, A is x, B is 4, but 4 is squared, which is 16, times the 3 is 48x. And then the 4 cubed, of course, is 64. So that's another way to get the same answer if you learn that rule. I'm going to leave that up to you and whether or not you'd like to learn it, because you can always multiply it all out. We don't cube binomials as often as we square them. Squaring them, the shortcut's very helpful. That's it. So in section P4 in my math lab, you will be adding, subtracting, and multiplying polynomials. So have at it. It is due on Friday. I hope everything went well with the quiz. It should have been a lot like the practice quiz, and we will see you on Friday. Have a great day.